The moment she stepped through the massive, polished doors of her penthouse, everything she had built in her life, the skyscrapers, the wealth, the power, suddenly felt fragile. The usually immaculate silence of her home was broken by faint giggles coming from the living room, giggles that carried an unfamiliar warmth but also a chill she couldn't shake. She wasn't expecting anyone. Not today. Not like this. As she rounded the corner, her eyes fell on a scene so jarring, so impossibly intimate, that her body froze mid-step. There they were, her triplets, tiny little arms wrapped around the janitor, laughing, playing, utterly unbothered by the boundaries of wealth, social status, or her absence. Before I continue, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of love to bridge any divide, please hit that like button, share this story, comment, and subscribe to Ripple of Kindness. She had been out all day, attending board meetings, signing deals that would make or break fortunes, and for a brief, selfish moment, she thought of her children only as happy, sleeping figures at home. But seeing them now, laughing and carefree in the arms of a man she barely noticed before, her chest tightened. The janitor was not just a figure in the background anymore, he was the center of this tiny, chaotic universe that she had neglected. His hands were gentle as he lifted one of the twins into the air, making him squeal with laughter, while the other two clung to his legs, tugging at his uniform shirt as if it were a superhero cape. Her first instinct was anger, raw, biting, irrational. How dare he? How could he? But the anger dissolved as quickly as it came, replaced by an unfamiliar ache. She had spent years building walls around herself, around her heart, and now, standing in that sunlit living room, she realized those walls had also kept her away from the purest form of love she would ever know. These children, her heartbeats, had found connection, warmth, and attention that she hadn't provided, not because she didn't love them, but because she thought love could be measured in gifts, in tutors, in the neatness of a home she barely occupied. The janitor looked up and froze, caught in the act, but there was no shame in his eyes, only a nervous, humble honesty. He had lived his life quietly, unnoticed, moving through the mansion like a ghost, polishing floors and fixing broken faucets. But in these stolen moments with the children, he was alive, vibrant, and necessary in ways that money could never buy. She watched as one of the twins crawled into his lap, pulling at his tie, and she realized something she had long denied: love, attention, and patience could exist outside of wealth and status. She wanted to rush forward, to demand explanations, to scream at the audacity of it all. But instead, she stayed frozen, observing. Because what she saw next made her heart twist painfully and beautifully at the same time. The janitor was reading to them from a tattered book he had apparently brought from somewhere. He didn't just read, he animated the story, using different voices, turning pages carefully so that all three could see the pictures. She could see the awe in their eyes, the way they leaned in together, mouths open, tiny fingers pointing at dragons and castles. It was a scene she had never created, never been part of, and yet, it was breathtaking. Her own tears began to sting at the corners of her eyes. She realized that while she had given her children material wealth, she had not given them presents. She had not given them moments like this, where the world could pause and love could flow freely without schedules or demands. The janitor, this quiet, unassuming man, had given them what she could not: his full, undivided attention, a patient heart, and the freedom to just be children. Days blurred into weeks as she watched from the edges, unsure how to step into this new reality. Slowly, she began to change, not out of guilt, but because she could not ignore the simple truth that had been laid bare in her living room that day. She started spending time with the triplets after work, sitting on the floor and listening, playing, laughing. The janitor didn't vanish, he became a guide, a bridge between her and the love she had been missing. Together, they built a new rhythm for the family, not perfect, not without mistakes, but real, and warm, and human. Her children's laughter filled the house in a way she had never imagined. One evening, as she tucked the twins into bed, she caught the janitor's eye across the room. There was an unspoken understanding between them now: love doesn't belong to one person, and parenting is not a race of wealth or pride. It is patience, presence, and compassion, and sometimes, the heart learns the hardest lessons from the most unexpected teachers. If this story has touched your heart, if it reminds you that kindness and second chances can transform lives, please engage with this video, like, share, and subscribe. Every interaction helps ripple the message of love and humanity further than we could imagine. Before you go, please leave a comment sharing what lesson touched you the most in this story, because your insight might inspire someone else today. She finally understood that wealth without love is hollow, and control without empathy is meaningless. Her heart, once rigid and cold, had begun to melt, and she realized that the most valuable inheritance she could give her children was not money, but time, love, and genuine presence. And in the soft glow of the living room, surrounded by the giggles of her children and the steady warmth of a man who had shown her what family really meant, she found a new kind of wealth, one that could never be measured in dollars, only in the quiet, beautiful moments of connection that make life truly rich.